Hello students and welcome to my channel. In this session we will be learning History chapter number 1 Historiography Development in the West. In the second part of this chapter we will be learning 1.1 Tradition of Historiography, 1.2 Modern Historiography and 1.3 Development of Scientific Perspective in Europe and Historiography. So let's begin with 1.1 Tradition of Historiography. We have learned about the historical research method. Student, in the first part I have told you what is a historical research. Historical research is a technique to study the past event. Then we have learned about the historical method. Then in that historical research method I have also taught you about the historical narratives. Critically examining the historical sources and writing the historical narrative. So all these things we have seen in the last part. What is a historical research, what is a historical narrative, how to write the historical narrative, what are the steps to be followed to write the historical narratives. The writing of critical historical narrative is known as historiography. Scholar who writes such a narrative is a historian. The historian cannot include every past event in his narrative. The inclusion and interpretation of historical events by the historian often depends on the conceptual framework adopted by him. His style of writing is determined by that conceptual framework. So historiography, you know what is historiography now? History plus graphy, that is historiography. So the scholar who writes the narrative is a historian. Now suppose a historian is writing a narrative. Now when he is writing a narrative, he cannot consider all the events in his writings. Now for example, a person is there and he has to write about the administrative department or about the administrative work from the life of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, and he has an extensive sources of information he has with him. Now he cannot take every single event, past event, for writing his narrative from the life of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Then what is he going to do? The historian cannot include every past events in his narrative. So he cannot write right from the childhood of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, his coronation ceremony, then various events from his life. Then the inclusion and interpretation of historical event by historian often depend upon his conceptual framework adopted by him. So now the historian, he has to write only about the administrative department or administrative work of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. So what is he going to do? That he is going to include and he is going to interpret only that historical event from his life by the historian often depends upon his conceptual framework. Conceptual framework means his method or his tool or his pattern to write the narrative. His style of writing is determined by the conceptual work. So which historian write by which way, you can identify by his conceptual framework, by the way or by the pattern or by the method or whatever tools he used to write his historical narrative. Then the tradition of writing historical narrative, in that is historiography, was not prevalent in the ancient societies of the world. Now historiography we have been learning now, or we have learned about historiography, but in the tradition of writing historical narrative, historiography was not prevalent in the ancient societies of the world. People did not know anything about the historiography in the ancient societies. Then however, that does not mean that they were not aware of historical time or were not eager to know about it. That doesn't mean that they were not interested to know anything about the past. They were interested to know, but they did not know how to write it or what a historical narrative or what is a historiography. But they were interested and they were eager also to know about the historical times. Ancient people also felt the need of passing on the stories of the life of valor. Valor means bravery or courage of the ancestors to the next generation. So these ancient people thought that even whatever information we have or whatever information we are knowing about the ancestors, about their great deeds, about their valor, about their life, we have to pass it to the next generation. Ancient communities all over the world use various means like cave painting and storytelling, singing songs and ballads. Ballads means a short stories or a poem. for this purpose. So instead of writing the historical narrative or becoming a historian, they use a very simple way of passing on the information to the next generation, and that was through cave painting, storytelling, singing songs, and writing the ballets. The traditional means are looked upon as the sources of history in the modern historiography. So these traditional sources are the sources for the modern historiography. So the base is traditional historiography of the modern historiography. 1.2 Modern historiography. 4 main characteristics of modern historiography. First characteristic, its method is based on a scientific principle. So modern historiography is all based upon the science now. It begins with the formation of a relevant question, that is important question. These questions are anthropocentric. Anthropocentric means the questions are regarding human as the center and the most important element of existence. The questions are about the human deeds. Deeds means about the human work, what are the work they have done previously. It means that these questions are about the deeds of the member of ancient human societies at a particular period. History does not suggest any interrelation between divine and human deeds. So it's said over here, it is a scientific principle. Because it is a scientific principle, it does not depend or it does not tell about the interrelation between the human, divine and the human deeds. Divine means it does not tell anything about the God or about some abstract ideas or about some supernatural things. No. Answers to these questions are supported by reliable evidences. So questions, how they are, relevant questions are to be asked. Answers to the above questions should be reliable. They should have a reliable evidence. That means whatever answer they are giving, they should have a proper proof for it, or they should have a proper evidences for it. History presents a graph of mankind's journey with the help of the past human deeds. So history present a graph of mankind's journey, like mankind journey now, right from 1720 to 1820, from 1820 to 1920, from 1920 to 2020. So this is a period, this is a timeline. So history present a graph of mankind journey. So we have been done a lot of journey, we have done lot of development, we have done mankind has done a lot of journey, and with the help of the past human deeds. So whatever deeds were done in the 1720, 1820, 1920, we are learning in the 2020. So history presents a graph of mankind journey. So right from 1720 to 2020. Here the mankind journey is being shown with the help of past human deeds. So we look behind, right from 1720, 1920. So we come to about the mankind journey by looking in the past human deeds. It is said that modern historiography with the above characteristics, that means the 4 characteristics which are stated, that the method is based upon the scientific principle, then the questions are anthropocentric. So when you ask the question, you should have a reliable evidences, and history presents a graph of the mankind journey. All the 4 characteristics have the root in the ancient Greek historical writing. History is originally a Greek term. So history is a Greek term. Herodotus, the Greek historian of 5th century BCE, used it first for his entitled book named Histories. So he is Herodotus, the father of history, and this is his first book which is written by him, the History by Herodotus. So first time the book was been entitled, that means the book was titled as Histories. So Herodotus is said to be the father of the history. Let us see 1.3, the development of scientific perspective in Europe and historiography. So perspective means point of view. Till the 18th century CE, Common Era, Europe had achieved a remarkable progress in fields of philosophy and science. Scholars by then had come to believe in the possibility of studying the social and historical truths by applying scientific methods. Now the philosophical discussions focused more and more on the objectivity, history and historiography. So in this period, lot of development took place. Then people started studying historical truth by applying the scientific methods. Then philosophical discussion were focused more and more importance were given to history and historiography. So all the development took place more and more into the European nations prior to the 18th century. But before 18th century, all European university was interested only in the philosophical discourse. That means they used to talk only about the philosophical discourse, or they used to talk only about the divine power, supernatural things, about the gods, about the death, life after death, revolving around the divine phenomena. So they used to often discuss only about those things which are abstract in nature. That means about the divine, about the heaven, about the hell, about the supernatural power, existence of God, evil, good, only about those things. However, gradually the scenario began to change, but later on it started changing. In 1737 CE, the Göttingen University, this is a Göttingen University, was founded in Germany. This university for the first time had an independent department of history. Later, other German universities also became centers of historical studies. So this is the first Göttingen University founded in Germany. So later on, many such universities were founded in Germany. So this shows about the development of history into the European nations. So thus student, this was the end of part 2 of history, chapter 1, historiography development in the West. In the next part of the session, that is the last part of the session, we are going to learn about the notable scholars. Thank you students.